Hey guys, today I'm going to be planting in grow bags for the first time. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos on grow bags, a lot of pros and cons. I'll go over the ones that stuck out to me. So the first one, as far as cons, are most of them tend to be flimsy and they only last like a year or two. The second con is they tend to get stained, and a lot of people don't like that aesthetic look. And I'm kind of with that group because that's why I have raised beds. They look nice and clean. I like those lines. The third one is it can be hard to figure out what size you want for the particular plant that you want to grow, and that's probably going to be one of my issues too. And the final one is because they're porous, they tend to dry out and you need to use a lot of water. If I was still living in California, that would be a serious issue and deterrent for me, but I live in beautiful Kentucky and water isn't an issue here. So pros, which is why I kind of went to get grow bags, is they can save you on the amount of soil that you need. It costs a lot of money to fill these beds, and since I haven't yet made enough compost to do it all myself, it's still going to cost me money. What I found after looking around on YouTube and great Amazon is I found these. They are called Wraxly Grow Bags. And the reason why I chose these, well, first of all, they're pretty. I like the colors. This is a 5-pack. They are, oh, wow, okay. So I haven't opened these, obviously. And they're not what I expected. They're actually kind of cool. These are 7-gallon grow bags, and let me see. Oh, red's my favorite color, burgundy, so I gotta pull this one out. What caught my eye for these is they have an inner lining. Can you see that there? But they have an inner lining going about as deep as this color is. What is that? About 2/3 of the way down the bag. Actually, I'm probably only going to do one today because I have one little plant that I want to transplant. So yeah, hold on just a second. All right, so I filled this almost to the top. There's probably 3 inches from the top. I don't know if you can see that from here. They aren't very heavy. I mean, considering this is a 7-gallon pot, I thought it was going to be heavier than it. Anyway, it's doable, easily movable. I'm going to plant this tiny little butternut squash that I have because it needs to be transplanted. And this is a medium-sized plant. It's not a huge plant like a tomato that, you know, an indeterminate tomato that grows like super tall. This will get fairly big. It's going to vine, I believe, as long as I place it on grass or something, that it'll vine out. Really, I'm doing this for 2 reasons. One is I still haven't determined where I want more garden beds, and 2, I want to see if I can actually grow different plants, and I don't want to invest in, you know, 2 or 3 more raised garden beds if I can't even grow what I'm trying to grow. So I never talked about all of the pros for these other than, well, first of all, I think these are really pretty, but they're also inexpensive. Most of the pots that you get tend to be pretty pricey. You're looking at $15 to $30 for one pot. These, like I said, this is a set of 5. Comes with the red one, this really pretty earthy toned orange one, gray, grayish blue, and tan. And then it comes in I believe that's a 1-gallon bag that you can also use as a grow bag. Let me see. Yes, this is how I figure out what size hole I need. Stick it in there and see if it'll fit. Anyway, these were 5 and they cost me $25. And so they're roughly $5 a bag, and that's awesome, especially if, I mean, these feel pretty sturdy, feel pretty good, so I'm hoping that they're gonna last me a couple of years. Even if they only last me a year, $5 is awesome for one of these bags. And again, what I really like, and I don't know if it's gonna work, so we'll see, but what I really like is Ooh, nervous. Oh, roots are starting to come up. What I really like about these is that inner lining, which is supposedly going to give the water an opportunity to seep down before it seeps out. I'm really hoping that that's going to give the water, or give the soil, an opportunity to stay more moist before I have to water. And we'll see. We'll soon find out. So I'm going to give this a little bit of water that it had in here, and I'm going to go get my hose and water this in fully, and I'll talk to you in a minute. All right, so here's my first test. I'm just going to water it in thoroughly and see what happens. All right. And I can feel the moisture coming from right about here, starting to kind of seep out. So that's what I wanted, but this whole upper layer here is dry. Let's see. Yep. Hold on, let me bring you in closer. All right, so here's the bag, and it is dry here, and right here you can start to, I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but there's some moisture here. It's dry. It's just kind of little wet spot there. But the entire upper part is dry, and that's exactly what I wanted, because I want to make sure that the roots stay as moist as possible. That is another one of the benefits of a grow bag, is that because it aerates naturally, it keeps the roots from becoming root bound. Once the roots come out to the side in a normal plastic or other container, they hit the side and then they start to wind around in a circle, and they become really tight, root bound, and that'll choke out the plant and it'll die. The theory of this is that the aeration coming in, when it hits the side, the roots will self-prune, and I'm hoping that happens. I'm interested about the lining. I don't know if you could really see, it's not plastic. Maybe it's some kind of synthetic, and I don't know if that will cause root binding along the top. What I'm hoping is that because the moisture is going down, that the roots will continue to seek that moisture, and it won't happen. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. It's an experiment. Again, the 4 things that people usually complain about is that they're flimsy or cheap. This is really good material, at least it feels really good. They're thick, and the stitching on the handles is pretty darn solid, so I have high hopes for that. The second con that I mentioned is that grow bags in general tend to stain. I think the double thickness of this, because there's a liner, if there's any staining, it'll be at the lower bottom, which I really don't care about, because it's the lower bottom and it's sitting on dirt. Come on. So, and there's dirt in it. If it stains, I think I'll be okay with that. The other con is it can be difficult to decide what size to use depending on the plant. You know, should you use 5, 7, 10, 20 gallon grow bags? I'm just going to use common sense. This is a relatively, well, it will be, if it survives, a relatively large sprawling plant, but not a large root plant. If that makes any sense. I'm new to gardening. I'm figuring these things out. I know that it's going to be fairly big, but the root system itself, it doesn't get as big as, say, those indeterminate tomatoes. So I'm hopeful that 7 gallon grow bag will be good enough for me. I'll play around with it. We'll see what happens. And fourth and most important con for me is the watering. And because of that inner lining, and like I said, we just saw, this is still dry. The top here is still damp, and there's some wetness down here, but it's not even completely wet all the way around. There's patches basically. So that water is slowly seeping down and seeping out. So I think that that's going to help me. I'm terrible when it comes to watering plants. That's a whole other story. I'll get into that some other day, but not today, trust me. I'll keep you posted though with another update, and we'll see if the plant survives, or if it survives me. It may not even be the grow bag. But all right guys, that's it for my review. Again, I really like these bags. I hope you found this video helpful, interesting. If so, please give it a thumbs up. The thumbs down's broken. Don't bother with that one. Please subscribe. I will always try to be honest. I will show you my successes and my failures. So consider subscribing, and it's totally free. So just click that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This is Bourbon and Beans. Have a blessed day. Bye.